as for me, and shining things, sovereignty was not hers.
Hello, it's
me, John Gallagher-Botero, always here.
And welcome to what is affectionately known as the BLC banter bus. John doesn't like calling it that, but it's our weekly talk chat where we talk about some guests about how do you probably stuff like that. We get judgy. So one of our guests is Ole and Jeny from Jeny and Ole, so we just honest to me that the best professional ever. I mean, we just thought that for anybody who's just tuning in manually.
I'm doing really well. I learned things about all of us that I didn't know before in the last 45 minutes or so. It's a very educational experience.
Yeah, we've got in deep. Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with that. Yeah, and also it went into like in a direction that I did not think it was gonna go to at all. So it surprised me. That was fun.
I'm just going to say it now. I blame both John and myself entirely.
Yeah, I agree. I blame you twice.
So, guys, it's really nice to have you here on the show. We haven't had improvisers from outside of the UK, so it's been apart from. I guess you can count Max, who's currently in Toronto, but another European country. It's really nice to have you guys and to see your take on improv and what your journey was like. So,
well, we can before Brexit.
Before Brexit, of course.
We can do this after Brexit.
No, it's purely just British improvisers and no one else. So this is a treat. This is a treat for us.
Yeah.
Let's get a summary from each of you. Like, what your improv journey was like, where you started off, what you.
I think that's what we usually do. Let's really quickly, like, I mean, we kind of like get over here, like, how do you guys a little bit, like, so maybe after our team moving over to the Amsterdam, I think it's just Amsterdam International Improv Festival. Is that what it's called? I'm not certain. Yeah.
What is it called?
The Improv Festival in Amsterdam. What is it called?
I'm trying to remember the specific name of it.
The Improv Marathon from Amsterdam, right? Amsterdam Improv Marathon.
Yeah. Me and Gallagher went over on a team that were deceased. We got to meet you guys and your shows, correct? And I feel like we just like intermittently contacting each other like every half a year at this point. I'm always like at the Fringe or at like festivals, like, oh, it's like it's great. So that's our overview. That answered Gallagher's question. Overall, you think, Prof?
Ole, you want to start or should I?
You can start if you want.
Okay. Well, I am a musician and I came to the Netherlands like about 7-8 years ago, and I had already done a little bit of improv in Spain, but like very like just a couple of like intensive workshops on like weekend or 3-day things, but nothing else. And then I came here and I got to know Jeny things, and then I started doing courses with them, just like improv. And after a while, I was trying to also incorporate some improv comedy things into my music. I wanted to see whether improv could benefit musicians, things like that, for my master's research. And after that, I just got asked by Jeny things to actually start doing music for them, and I started improvising music for them. And that was when I actually got to play with them, got to know them a little bit better. And then after a long while also doing the courses and training with them, I got asked to be an improviser as well. So that's been already 4 or 5 years with the group, I think. And it's been fun. It's been like a really like a self growth. I don't know, like it's just been a great experience to also start from music and now get to do improv and fun.
Well, yourself, Ole. And also, I feel like somebody's microphone is like scratching a lot. I don't know who's pressing this. I promise it's not me.
I hope it isn't me. Is it me?
I don't know. There's no way for me to check.
I don't know if it's me.
It can be me.
I can go with this. At least in this
That's
topic.
It's yeah.
Don't stuck in it.
No, it's can't.
I'll hands up. My improv journey starts when I was maybe 15. I went to this film school workshop retreat weekend, and I did one improv class. And I came home and I told myself, let's do it. And so I founded my cities. I'm from a very small city in the north of Germany. I founded my cities first and only, both shortest and longest running group of improvisers. It was me, my aunt, some 16-year-old girl, and an 83-year-old lady who joined us. And she had to stop after a while because her heart wasn't doing so well with so much workouts. And none of us knew how improv worked. I had read half a book, and it failed after like 3 sessions, and no one talked to each other again. And then a few years later, I saw improv in Groningen, where both Jeny and me live. I saw the group that we're now part of, Stranger Things, and I thought that was amazing. And then I found out that we had a weekly pub show where we would do like an improv jam. People could join on stage, and it was free and exciting. And then I joined the courses, and I ended up being part of the group eventually. And like Jenny said, it's been a transformative experience. I especially like I play. I love playing, but I also really like teaching. Like Jenny also was teaching improv, and I really enjoy it. The combination of sort of the theoretical and also the very fun and practical. Yeah.
Cool. Very nice. Yeah, a good summary from both of you. I think I met you guys at Edinburgh Fringe.
Yes.
What's
Yes.
what was it? What do you find are the differences between Dutch audiences and British audiences? Do you think there's much of a difference? Are they much nicer? What are they like?
I don't know. I was gonna say that I have, like, not in my experience, because I didn't experience this for myself. I was in a show in Edinburgh, just watching some stand-up, and that was like the hecklers that were there were probably the worst I've ever seen in my life. I have never experienced something like that, and that was in Edinburgh, indeed. But I don't know if it has to do with the UK or the Netherlands. I just didn't experience something like that before. But I don't know. I don't really think there has been much of a difference for me when performing. Perhaps just the fact that in the Netherlands or in Groningen, where we perform very regularly, people know us already as people. They've met us before, and it's not the same as when we've been in Edinburgh, for instance, just performing at the Fringe. Yeah.
I think also our audience is, even though we're located in the Netherlands, I think the majority of our audience are international students.
Yeah.
And so I think they're very giving, and they're very ready to be entertained.
Yes.
Because there's a few hubs where they have a cultural offer, kind of like an opportunity to experience something that's not a room or a cinema. And they're there for it. They're really there for it. And I think I can only really compare to very few experiences in the UK. But I think maybe a UK audience is very polite, but not necessarily very giving with laughter. They'll be there and they'll have a nice chuckle, but they that's my experience. They're there and they won't leave. But
after the show, they were like,
Yeah. But they were not laughing throughout the show.
yeah.
I watched them in the front row all the time. And they were like, and after the show, that was amazing.
Yeah.
You guys, so you guys perform in English, and which is pretty cool. You have a few Dutch teams that perform in English, just because it's a lot of people speak English over there, which is really fun. I guess it's easier when you can bring it over to the UK or the States if you ever go. And you've done loads of different types of shows. I know I remember you guys doing like a murder mystery at one point. I think it was Edinburgh Fringe. You were doing a murder mystery before, and then there was another one that you guys were doing short form as well. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
What's been your favorite show? Which one's been like that you've said, man, this is probably our signature show. This has gone very well for us.
I think our signature shows are generally just short form, because that's the thing that we do more often, and that's the thing that Stranger Things started with, basically, and that developed and worked a lot on. So that if you think of Stranger Things as a group, probably like our short form is the thing that's is more known, or I don't know how to say it. Yeah, of course, but I particularly enjoy long form a lot. And there's one thing that we've done like couple times that Ole actually trained us for. In this case, the format that we called sort of Ole Human, in which we just like really work on coming in with nothing at all and just looking at our partner and seeing where it takes us. Nothing that you have already in your head is gonna be how it's just like you and the other person looking at each other, like taking one small thing and just taking it from there. And I think that's something I enjoyed a lot. I don't know about you, Ole.
I think for me, improv is super cool. I love short form, but I love very experimental formats. So Only Human is a format. I don't think it's our most frequent or our best format, but if it works, I think it is amazing, because everyone, including the audience, like no one knows what the next move will be, and all the players really try not to push too much. So there's very small reactions. Maybe you smile or you nod at someone, and we build from almost nothing.
The smallest,
Crazy things that are meaningless for 5 minutes and suddenly make so much sense. And I love that about where you're really with someone, and you only have each other, and there's nothing else. No idea. Just like looking each other in the eye. And I think if it goes well, that is what we do really well. But we more often do short form.
Oh, that's interesting. That organic, you do more, like you guys prefer organic long form. That's interesting. When did you guys always start off with long form, like organic long form, or have you ever done game style as well? In terms of the different types of long form that you guys have done, which one do you think works for you guys? Like, because I guess the organic one, like, you want to start with absolutely nothing, or would you rather build up to like a story or build up to a particular game?
I don't know. I was gonna say, like, for me, it's changed a lot. So, like, depending on the period I'm in or the time I'm in, like, I prefer a type of improv, and I enjoy myself doing a type of improv more than other. And for example, I think I started more with much more structured long form. And like coming with an idea and building a story up, and like with a very clear storyline, and just like bringing to like this high point and then to the end, and everything like ties up very nicely. And then we've started working more on like this coming in with nothing, and at this point in my improv journey, I think I'm enjoying that a lot. Just like really fitting from a small thing, the smallest thing that you can find in what the other person is doing, and building up from that. I could not tell you I enjoy this more than the other thing, because it's really changed, and it like maybe in next month I'm done with this. I prefer doing much more structured long form. But yeah.
I think it requires different muscles, kind of.
Yeah.
And I'm much more stressed in, say, you do like I think especially story-based shows I find very stressful. If an hour, for example, and then you're in it 25 minutes, and you're like, there's no way this can be resolved.
Yeah.
And every time that someone else steps in, you're like, oh no. More is being added. There's no way that will ever be over.
It's such a familiar feeling for me whenever I've done like any narrative story-based thing. I'm like, oh, this isn't going to work, and then somebody comes in and it just makes it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think I prefer. I like the challenge of like a good story-based long form, but I think I really like finding small games and just doing a thing for a bit and then doing another thing for another bit.
So for each of you individually, here's something I'd like to find out. Like, what's like a note you got in a workshop that you think actually helped you? Like, what's like a piece of advice someone that gave that it didn't even necessarily feel good, but like when you started using it, you felt like, oh, this is easier, or these scenes are better. Is there anything, or is every workshop just a waste of your time?
Wow.
The note-
Everything sucked.
It doesn't have to be the best. You don't have to be like, oh, what's the best? Just like one thing that was like, oh, when I started doing this, it became easier.
For me, I think the very first note I ever got was an instruction, and the trainer said, for the next scene, you can't look at the audience. Ideally, face them with your back. Because I was so concerned with impressing them. And it really stifled me. Because I was so obedient. It's very audience obedient. And that was a really good note for me. Just turn you back to them. I mean, they won't go away.
I'm thinking of one that was mostly when I was doing like more music, like improvised music for scenes, and someone literally caught me actually putting my hands on the piano the moment, like the right moment, you know, like that's the moment you should start playing, and then I used to just like put them there and wait, and then put them back, and then I put them, and our trainer back then told me, you put your hands on the piano at the exact moment that the music was needed, and that, so like trust your instincts and really go with it because you have it, and the moment you start thinking about it is like it's gone, so you really should just like trust your instinct and go with it when your gut is telling you to. And that was also very interesting because I had not noticed. Like in my head it was like I'm trying to find it, yes, and I had already found it actually. So yeah, that was a kind of a realization.
I think that feels like that exactly translates into like doing scene work. Like so many people are just like they start to walk out and then they're like, oh, no, I'll just wait a little bit until I've got a better idea.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I also think that often when we wait too long, like, okay, I'm going to do it like this, and this will be the next step, and I'm going to say that, but the scene has already moved on. And then you walk in with your old thing, and you shoehorn that into wherever you are, and you're like, it's too late.
Yeah.
The moment has died.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like a quarter of the way into the show when someone's like, and blah, 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 the suggestion to try and like remind everybody of it. Everybody's like, like we're in the middle of a scene. Like, we don't care about that anymore. What's the other side? I like this question maybe even more. What's the note that you got that you think did not help at all? You're like, why did you give me this note? It's garbage. I mean, it could, okay, so this isn't a judgment on like, no, it could be useful for some people. But for you specifically, you're like, this doesn't help me. It actually makes this seem harder for me to do.
Oh, wow.
That's a difficult question.
We're asking the big questions here.
Yeah, man.
What do
Should
people
have been prepared.
We start off light.
What do people usually say in these moments? What,
I mean, my go-to one for that, I think, is like lead with a body part, which I think is fine though for some people. But I feel like lie when people give me that note because I don't generally lead with a body part. It's not how I, as like a human being, think. So I'm sure it does help for people, but like for me, it does nothing. And if I get that instruction or a workshop, I'll do as best as I can. But the whole time I'm doing it, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this is fake as shit to me. Like, none of this is just trying to make the workshop supervisor happy that I'm doing it. It's not making me do a better scene or helping me do a scene. I'm not saying, like, it has to be anything like that. That's just my example.
Jeny, I'm sure you have something great.
Sure, I have something really great actually, but I thought you should first.
Oh, you're both so polite.
I think one of the notes that I used to give to people, I used to tell people, I think it's a good note for some people, but it wasn't a good note for me. I think often we say, be silent. Start your scene with silence. Be silent. I think it's great because it often allows for the scene to become more physical and allows for the scene for something to develop before you've started.
Yeah.
But for some players, and I think including myself, silence is not where it's at. Like, be loud, be there is where it's at. And then people say, just like relax into the scene by being silent. But I don't think, for many people, including myself, there was a time where that wasn't relaxing at all. And if I start silent, I'll never speak.
Yeah.
And I think that's been something that now I love starting with it. I think for many people, silence is a very bad moment to start because then they'll never say anything.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I think that's related to I think somebody's talked about this, like kind of giving an answer similar to that, which is like, a note they found difficult to kind of use is like, they're trying to listen and support, but because they're not making choices for the scene, they're kind of just letting their scene partner do all the work, and that, again, you should listen, you should let people, like contribute to the scene, but some people, if they hear that note, they're like, okay, I won't do anything, so it's not perfect for them. What about yourself, Jeny? I mean, now that Ole is gone, you can't have any possible reason to... or could you get something like Ole's reference, like, what's in the note you used to give? You don't give people anymore?
This is being really hard. I'm trying to think of something that I know that someone has given to me that has not helped me at all. But, I was thinking of like just be bold, that at the beginning being bold for me was like not a thing. Being bold is like, no, I'm thinking, so let me think, because otherwise I'm not going to do anything. And it took me a long time because it was kind of realizing I cannot be bold right now. Like really, I don't have the confidence to do anything. And the fact that I realized I could not do it was very frustrating because people kept repeating, just do it, and I was like, but I cannot, and you're telling me to do it, but this is not who I am. I need to think, and now I can do it. But at the beginning, perhaps the more I heard that type of note, it was the more frustrating it became.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I need my time right now. Sorry. And now I feel super comfortable just being with the most stupid thing and then building up from it, not knowing at all where it's taking me. But before, especially when I started doing improv, it was like, don't tell me this anymore. It's I'm really frustrated right now. Yeah. So, but I give that note to my students anyways, because they need to do it. But I understand when they are not doing it because, not everyone has the same process. And
yeah, that's the kind of note I've heard people be a little bit anxious about. Something similar, which is play bigger characters, which could be useful, but some people just aren't that kind of person. their sense of what is fun in a scene isn't necessarily that. And I don't really necessarily think. I don't think improv is about becoming like being able to do anything. I think it's about you bringing the best of yourself into the scene. And, you know, if the best of yourself isn't like being, I'm a crazy cowboy, then you won't have fun doing that.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I enjoy the crazy cowboy right now.
Oh, that's what I love. That's what I think.
I did not. Like,
Yeah.
I could not, of course. Yeah.
I also find the note, try to have fun, really difficult.
Yeah.
But try to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What to do with that? There's nothing there. Now I'm really stressed about that being so stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of training is sort of, I think the problem is if you tell someone, be this or be that, then you don't offer them a way of getting there.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that a lot right now, especially in terms of coaching. Like, I think a real misstep in a lot of coaching to start with is like, you kind of just want to break down the problems of a scene, but you're not actually like figuring out how to fix the problems.
Yeah.
It's your job to like fix it, not to tell them what the problem is.
Yeah.
It's so much more easier to be like, have fun,
Yeah.
That's why I like my first note so much, because my trainer was not like, you're looking at the audience too much, don't do it. He says like, turn your back to the audience. And then automatically I didn't look at them because I couldn't see them. And that was a very good solution for my problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love practical. Any note that's like, you can do it or not do it.
Yeah.
I can at least do that in a scene.
As Stranger Things, as you guys have, as you guys like dip your toes into all types of improv, short form, long form, and narrative, what do you think are some of the advantages and disadvantages of all three, or other forms of improv that you guys have tried?
I enjoy a lot working on relationships, and that's something that from you don't get to do all the time, for instance. And I really enjoy taking my time to build my character, to build the relationship, and to connect to the deeper, like in a deeper level with the other character. And in short form, sometimes it's just not there because of you need to be quick, you need to be snappy, you need to just hit the points and get a big laugh, and then it's over. I think that's something I kind of miss in short form. But then again, we are all there for the laughter and the reward from the audience, because we are all insecure people, and that's what we need as a reward. So in short form, you get that much more, I guess, and much more often. So I don't know. Ole, do you have anything?
What I like about short form is that it's short.
Good
and,
point.
and sometimes you're in something and you're like, I don't think I'm enjoying this that much. It's very enjoyable. The thing that's happening right now, I don't know. And then you're like, okay, well, it's only another 45 minutes. I guess I can do it. And I think that's like
I like how positive you are being, Ole. That's, that's nice.
But I think that's what I really like about short film, is like you don't commit to something for very long. And so you get to do much more different things.
Yeah.
And I think I like the challenge of having to be consistent in a narrative. For example, you're one character for the entire time. But if I stumble over something that's really fun, and I'm like, okay, now I'm this character, that's it. And I have to like wait for my next opportunity to do this now. And I really like about like short form that we can just do whatever for a bit and then do something new.
Yeah. How about you guys? Or we don't get to know what you guys think?
Oh, they've asked a question.
Second week in a row.
I was honestly, Ole, you were looking out in the distance with your eyes darting back and forth, and it looked like you're about to say something so so profound.
You should put, like, Of nothing.
What do we think about advantages and disadvantages of short form and other formats? I guess in Britain.
I'll go first. I'll go first to give.
All right.
I'll go first to give Gallagher some time. Only because my answer's pretty clinical and I only really like long form. I hit short forms like early on, kind of to get stage time, like to get used to improv. And I have done like narrative shows. It's not really like my thing. Like I got into improv because I do sketch comedy. So if I can just do that, then I'm very comfortable with that. I mean, I'm not gonna be an asshole like a lot of people are. It's like it's the only form of improv now. But I mean, it's flatter. I like it. And I mean, the thing I like about it is like when you were saying, Jeny, where it's like there's nothing pre-planned. You know, it's like I don't know at all what I'm about to do. I'm just gonna be on stage. Maybe we've agreed to say some stories at the start, but I don't know anything about those stories. Or for many other shows, it's just like we're just going to go on stage and something will happen for about half an hour to 45 minutes, an hour if it's a bad show. That's what I love. I love not planning. I'm a really lazy guy.
Yeah, with me, I started with short form, and then I did narrative, and then I did long form. So I've gone through all of them. I think that's a very common thing for people. They start off with short form from university groups or from small communities. They do short form. They coming from the TV show Who's Next Anyway, and then I guess the most obvious thing to do is to go up that ladder. Then you start realizing there's more formats, there's more this, there's more that. That's very common, but I guess you guys were right. I guess you both sort of nailed it. Like with short form, you don't have that much time. You're there for laughter.
Yeah.
You're there to get audience laughter.
Yeah, I'll add to like kind of what I said. What that's like long form, which is what you were saying, Ole, which is like fucking trapped. This doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, like when I was doing short form, like I could just do like fun scenes. If it didn't work, it's fine.
Yeah.
The problem with doing a lot of long form is you do like, especially when you're first learning, all of your shows are bad. They're all bad. None of them are good. There's maybe one good scene in a show, but everything else is like I'm trapped in this garbage for half an hour, and it's not fun. I mean, it's a good training tool, but it's not fun. Let's say that. Until you're perfect. Not to say perfect. I've just never done a bad scene since 2018.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I stopped. I did one with Gallagher months ago.
It's always with me as well.
And it was his fault, right?
I mean, it was to John's fault, and I'm not one of those Johns.
They were both me.
They're both you. It's always W. Always W.
What is the Dutch improv scene like? I know that you guys have Boom Chicago, which is pretty big, and you've got the Amsterdam Improv Marathon. What's it like over there?
I'm gonna give this question to Jeny because I need to leave now.
Such a political answer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything. I will let Jeny take care of the politics. Goodbye.
It was very nice to see the inside of like your house when you were.
Yeah.
My Wi-Fi is really bad, and my computer ran out of a battery, and so I had to like find places and ways of making it happen. Also, one of the rooms that I was in with good Wi-Fi didn't have light, and so I had to move to that again. So it's been a journey. It's been amazing seeing you guys. I hope to see you soon in real life.
Yeah.
But I'll watch the recording, the rest of the recording.
Yeah. I hope.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye, buddy.
Bye. Just to be clear before Jeny speaks, Ole didn't. We knew Ole was going to go early. He didn't. It's not like he disliked the question or anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Indeed. After showing off like his beautiful house, he was like, I have have no other room to show now, so better go. So in the Netherlands, there is actually a lot of improv, and like in Amsterdam, as you said, like there's Boom Chicago, but there's also Tag Out Theater, and I don't know many more from Amsterdam, but I know there are like also a few other groups like Telecom Comedy. I know like I hope I said the name correctly, and in Eindhoven I think, and there's a couple other groups like in Utrecht and Rotterdam. So like there is quite a lot of improv, and it's very spread through the country. And that's really cool, and I have to say it's a bit of a shame that we don't do more improv all together, all the groups together. So it's good that, for instance, like we have this Amsterdam, like the marathon, because there we also got to see a little bit more of the improv in the Netherlands that we hadn't had the chance before. And it's good to see what's out there, because we are we are in the north, and we move every now and again, but we're very much just staying here in Groningen and doing our shows here, because we have our audience already. So it's there's a lot going on, so that's a good thing.
That's really good. Yeah, I know a lot of people go to the Copenhagen Improv Festival a lot, and they go to we went to Amsterdam, and there's people like traveling a lot.
Yeah.
Is that an advantage for you guys? Because for me, like I've tried to apply to different places to either teach and perform, and like there's a Barcelona one, there's one in Athens which is really popular.
Yeah.
Is there? Do you feel like there's an advantage of going to these places to travel around a lot?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think the first one I went to was like the Fringe, and that was like I don't know. I was very lucky that we got to go there, and that was our first festival also, and we got to do improv there, and we got to meet you guys, and we got to meet quite a few other improvisers, and it was just great to see what other people are doing and their takes on improv, because I don't know, I think it's also broadened our vision, and like the ideas that we brought to the festival has also, like, maybe you talked to someone else and they were like, I really like how you did this, do it in this completely different way, and that's like, is that possible? What? And I don't know, I think it's just really, really good to meet all the people. We've been to Copenhagen, we've been to Oslo, and I think that's about it, or that's at least where I've been to. And all of them were really great experiences, because we got to meet a lot of people. And in fact, I also met people from the Netherlands over there that I didn't know existed and that I didn't know did improv. So I think it's just great, not only for networking, but also just really to see what's out there and what you hadn't seen before, and all the ways of doing improv that you had not even thought of. So in my case, it was like really like a great experience in that sense. Have you guys been in any other place recently?
I am loving the questions. We don't get it enough, so I thank you so much, Jenny.
No problem. I'm very polite.
Slight dig at the other guests we've had. I love it.
I agree.
That's it. Well, next question.
McInnes, would you go to like a different country to do like an improv festival? Because it feels, I don't know, it feels with our style of long form, it's very American style. It feels like a lot of Europe does have a lot of they do more organic narrative stuff, or short form, or that type of organic long form. There's not a lot of UCB style, American style long form out there in Europe that I found.
I mean, that's true, but I think that's a good thing. Like, you can show people new stuff. Like, we have been to like the Amsterdam Marathon, and it might not feel the same, but like, of the teams that tour around in the UK, in Gallagher tend to do the touring. Like, we went to the Fringe. We also, there's an Edinburgh Improv Festival there that isn't part of the Fringe. We go to London occasionally. I've been to I explicitly didn't go with Gallagher, not because I didn't want him there, but me and somebody else went to the Del Close Marathon when that was a thing. I like it. I think it's fun. I think there is like, I mean, the only real downside is the cost. Like, it's literally the only downside. Like, this, this art form doesn't support people who don't have money. You don't get paid for it, usually. Even the people who are getting any money are barely covering their expenses.
Yeah.
They probably have a real job, so they have to like take time off of that.
Yeah.
You know, that's the downsides.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll always do stuff. I mean, this is the whole thing about like coaching, right? Like, I would say most people who coach are only doing it because it's a money thing. Like, not necessarily everybody who coaches wants to coach. I love doing improv with like complete unknown audiences, regardless of how much I'm going to die in front of them. Because I always think like this is like the best test. Like, if our show is good, doesn't matter. If we don't know these people, if they have never seen it, it should still work. So if it doesn't, it gives me a lot to think about. Like, what? How could we make this show better?
Yeah, of course.
That's interesting.
Now that Ollie's gone, we can finally get to the fun questions. I love.
So scared.
I love asking this question. You can think about Ollie as the person involved in this question, or anybody if you want. But what is? I'll ask you like both of them. What's something somebody does in a scene when you're with them that immediately you're like, I hate you? Like, what's something they'll do in a scene where you're like, I hate it, and you just have to like, and what's something that somebody can do in a scene where you're like, I'm in love with you, thank you so much.
God, you guys have very difficult questions. You should have told me, and I would have been prepared for this.
I warned you that I'm a judgmental person. That's what all my questions are about.
And I'm the nice one.
Yeah. I'm here.
Yeah.
What is something that someone can do that would annoy me? Going for the the laughter too quickly sometimes. Like when you're building up something and you are like really like I don't know like taking your steps and like building something that is gonna have a great laughter at the end and you're really working hard, or perhaps you're actually like I don't know someone else is actually building it and then someone comes in and says the punchline and it's like it's over, you took it from this other person or you took it from me, asshole. That sometimes is very annoying. And also like because you know there are different types of plays of course, and there are some people who really work super hard to build these things up and to create the beautiful thing, and then they put it in your hands and they're like, take it, it's yours. And then when someone just takes it away from them, or that's really annoying. Because there are also people like super quick, super witty, and they immediately jump in and then they get the hardest laughter, and that sometimes annoys me. I guess that's one of the things.
Yeah. What's something that if somebody does it in a scene you love, and not everybody does it, you know, it's like rare to see it perhaps.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
What's your thing, Alfred? Have we done like the positive version of this question before? I feel like I only ever asked the negative version, which I prefer to like ask people.
I think we've definitely done the positive one to guess, but we haven't answered it. We're very vocal about what we don't like.
Yeah.
What don't you like?
So much.
So much stuff. Like I think one of my ones was exactly the same as yours, Jenny. Like somebody who's showboating, like trying to get the laugh, trying too hard. That's whenever I see that in a jam or something, that always sort of slightly annoys me.
Yeah.
But something positive. I think. What's yours, McInnes? I'm trying to think.
My stock answer for stuff I dislike, because I'm going with that first. Is like people who if they play a character where they're just arbitrarily dumber than they really are in real life, where they're like you know, they pretend they don't know what a war is. Like, just like overpoweringly stupid characters. It's kind of hard to play with them, you know, where you have to explain everything. But that might not even be what's meant to be funny in a scene. They're just being weird for some reason. I find that hard. I mean, it's not impossible, but it leads to the same kind of scene happening a lot. So that's kind of the thing that when somebody does it, I'm like, ugh. Thing I love. If you know, when somebody initiates something and I like, I mean, I'm on the same page before like we've even agreed on it, you know, where if I see their idea, even before almost they've said much, I love it. Because I'm just so safe at that point. I'm like, thank God. I know exactly what you need from me. We're going to have fun.
I think I got one thing that I really like. I love it when something becomes about the relationship. When you're talking about like a meaningless thing, and then suddenly someone brings something up that actually make the whole issue be about their relationship, and yeah, maybe an issue that they're having, or something that comes from like years before that it hasn't been brought up. Yeah, the moment it suddenly becomes about them as characters and not about the thing they're talking about, that's when I always say like, yes.
Yeah, I love when a scene's no longer about a wacky hat.
Yeah.
It's about like whoever owns that wacky hat.
Yeah, but it's really enjoyable when they keep talking about that thing.
Yeah.
But you can see through it, and it's like, yes, like this. It's amazing how they're talking about it, but I can see like all the issues that are behind it, and yeah, I think that's something I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you like?
I think I like it when people. No, I don't think I like it. I definitely do like it when people frame very clearly in the middle of a scene. So if just it's one sentence. Somebody says one sentence, and we know exactly what's happening. Because sometimes you do get lost in a character. I do that a lot. Sometimes I will initiate something, and I'm thinking so much about my own character that I just lose focus about where we are. And someone brings it in, and it just clears everything up. It's like the scene is misty, and then you're just breaking away from it. It's just it opens up so much stuff, and you can find games, then you can find whatever you want. It's just great. McInnes, we can't ask this question again because we've had both our answers. Okay, we can ask the guest, but we can't answer.
Oh, you can't answer, yeah. I mean, I've just been polite because we got asked it. I was like, this is giving Jenny time to come up with her own answer.
We have to do something else, like... I don't know, we've said the same...
We'll do like a short scene to fill time.
Yeah.
I'll edit it out. Coming from like a musical, I don't think we've had a musical improviser on the show yet. So you started with doing music first, Jenny, and then you moved into improv. What were some of like the biggest challenges that you faced? You're obviously there on the side playing the music, but then having to act as well. Like, what were some of the biggest challenges you were facing? Because that's an unusual thing.
So I think like I actually started. So I am a classical musician, and I started doing improv just as a kind of a means to get more into the mindset of improvisation and how to get rid of judgment, because as a classical musician, that's something very complicated to get rid of, for instance. So I was doing improv, like theater, at the same time that I started doing improv with music. So that was like it started kind of the same time, but I only got to do it with the group later, after a couple years doing music with them. But something I can say that kind of translated into my improv theater part was the idea of being on the side. I would very much be a player that would observe and try to find the thing and then bring it in. But that sometimes was annoying because then I would basically play for a very little time because I was just really trying to find the thing that would make the scene better. Because as a musician, that's also what you do. You're kind of the point of you being there is actually to enhance the things that are happening and heightening like emotions, and it's not just I don't really like just having music for the sake of having music. That's something that I really try to bring in when I'm improvising music for any group. It's like if I'm doing something, it's because I'm gonna improve it somehow, improve what's happening. I don't want to just be background music. And I think that kind of translated into my improv later. I was like very much that like I'll bring the thing that will improve the scene. But and sometimes when I had that thing and wanted to bring it in, the scene was over. So that it took me a kind of it took me a little while to get out of that mindset as well, and like be bold and just like step in and do something, whatever.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, that sort of translates so well when you're doing the music and acting. It's very similar. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We kind of do forget about our improv techies and improv musicians at times. So it's
I was at the festival in Edinburgh. I was told, I'm not gonna say by whom, but a musician from a different group told me, it's so cool because you are really part of the group. Like it really feels that you are with them, and I don't feel like that with my group. And I feel really sad for him, because he really felt like he was on the side, just like doing something, and not really. There was not that connection or that working together. And he also told me like, you are even on stage with them. I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool, but I thought that's how it's supposed to be, you know. And for him it wasn't, and I really think sometimes the musicians don't get enough credits, and sometimes they do get enough because they're that good, but no, like I really think the musical improv, doing music for improv is actually quite a huge thing, and when it's well done it really should be credited and said like, we have this guy who just made our scenes better, and I would like to thank him. And I fortunately got that with my group from the beginning, so I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, I say that, but we don't have any musicians or techies in our team at all.
Well, if you want to bring one in, like I can.
Would fly you over to Bristol.
Yeah, exactly. You guys said you had a lot of money, right? So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We do improv, so we've got a lot of money.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you keep saying techie. It's so weird. It's like the more patronising version of tech.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's just like you should be like ruffling their hair and just, oh, low techie with the lights.
God, yeah.
I think I only say it because I don't know what it is. A tech. We've never had a tech. We've never had one.
I mean, there's a tech on this show technically.
Oh no!
Oh,
Oh no!
Uh,
McInnes, have you got any final questions for Jeny?
Yeah. What's the best scene you've ever seen?
God, don't let him ask questions because he's worse than you, man.
I told you I'm the nice one.
Yeah.
A lot of my questions are like specific. No, so it is a demanding thing.
What's the best scene I've ever seen?
Okay, so it doesn't have to be like the absolute best. There's no. This is just like improv. Like it feels like there's pressure that there's a correct answer, but there really isn't. You just have to choose in your mind now something you think is like a really good scene. Like there's nobody ever is going to check like, is that the correct move in a scene? There's also nobody ever going to check like, is this the correct scene that you're choosing? Like you just have to make a choice. Like what's in your mind that you can think of right now, a scene that you think Oh, I remember watching that, and it was so good and so fun, and I loved it.
Yes. I have something. So the first time we went to Oslo, I think we've been there twice. We saw this show by it was the All Stars show. So it was three of the coaches that had been there to give some courses, and they had to just have a show together, and it was. Yes, I will say the names. Stacey Smith, for instance. And this is gonna be very hard because now I'm not gonna remember or not pronounce it correctly. Craig Orr?
Yeah, Uller,
How
I
do you
think.
pronounce it?
Yeah. I think it's just Uller, but it has a weird H in it.
Okay.
Uhlir, I think it is.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I was like, I don't know how to pronounce it, and that's gonna be bad. And then Sean Kinley, he's from Canada, and that was probably one of the best shows I've ever seen. The combination of those three was astonishing. It was amazing, and particularly I really also liked the physicality of Sean. I had never seen something so great and so physical and so clear. Like even he was doing just like a monkey, and you could see a monkey on stage, and it was like so impressive. I think I'd never seen something like him, and that was probably one of my most enjoyable experiences watching improv. Yeah. How about you guys?
Oh,
I
well,
couldn't possibly answer.
Now when you talk, there was this show in which John and me did this thing. And
Yeah, we did the show in front of a mirror. It was great.
I feel like this show we're just gonna come off as assholes more and more often each week. John.
It's just me. Don't worry. You're fine.
I think you just have to tell your guests not to ask questions back ever.
Yeah, we
should have
don't know
told
what to do. I think one of the best shows was also an All-Star thing. I think it was in Edinburgh in February. The Edinburgh All-Star show with Billy Merritt. Oh shit! Who else was in there?
Will Haynes, Heather Ann Campbell, Becky Drysdale, Pepe Evans,
Ooh,
Pippa Evans,
nice.
Will Haynes,
and
Jason Perez.
Jason Perez. Yeah. That was really good. Just talented comedians just playing off each other. And you know what? It wasn't even like you could argue that they were being dicks to each other at times, but it flowed so well, and it's they weren't forgiving. They just went straight at it. It was they went straight at it, and it was just aggressive and hilarious, and everything worked. Everything that they did worked, and it just goes to show that they're just they're talented people, and it works. It just works.
Yeah.
What about you, McInnes? And don't say the show we just did.
Although we know that's actually the answer, but
Thank you. Yes. Obviously, I'm being censored now. My free speech. The free speech is being impugned, so I'll have to go to my second favourite. I think it's probably. I'm certainly with her, Gallagher. I think it was a two-prov that Will Hines and Conor Ratliff did at Hoopla years ago, where started Conor as a dentist, I believe. And immediately I was like, this is interesting, because a thing I see a lot is like scenes where somebody's a dentist, somebody's in the dentist chair, and I'm like, it never really works well because somebody can't talk during that scene. But it was great. It was revealed that like Conor was like the devil. He had a great phrase that he said during it, which is, that's how he got to it. I think Will was like, who are you really? Conor said something like, I've had many names over time. It was so funny. I mean, on that same night, there was another, or the same weekend, there was another one with Will Hines, Connor, Joe Spence, and somebody else who I'm blanking on. But it was great. Those are like maybe 2 of my favorite shows I've seen in person.
Yeah, really, really decent shows.
Nice.
There's other ones, but like those come again. You know, I'm kind of falling into the same thing. I was like warning about, like, oh no, what about these other shows that are I think are great, but like no, like I think those are good enough to be like probably in top.
I think we're going to call it there, guys. I think that we've had a nice discussion there with Jeny, and poor Ole has had to leave, but we
Yeah.
got a good tour of his house.
I'll never get
Yeah.
I'll never get to ask the question. What's the worst show you saw?
Oh
God, I don't think you should.
I'm not gonna ask it. I'm not gonna ask it.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't see me and Gallagher show up, so the one where the one in Birmingham, probably that one, right? No, the one in London. The one in London years ago. The one in the DSS, like the job office thing. Me, you, and the rest of another team. C3 something. We did a mono scene,
Oh.
and then we all started on stage. It was awful the entire
Oh, wow.
time.
Let's not remember. No, I blanked it out of my memory for that.
One of the worst shows I've ever done.
Have you on that? Have you got an idea, Jenny? What have you got? Do you remember, Jenny? Now that we're on the subject,
of a show, like the worst show that I've ever done
all seen.
or seen. I don't know. I'm very mean to myself, so I very often come out and say like this was the worst thing. I should quit. And then you like either like if it happened to be recorded or something, and you get to watch it later. I was like, I did a cool thing there. Oh, look at that. But yeah, I tend to have a pretty negative feeling often, which sucks. But yeah, I'm trying to think of worst scene or worst show. I think probably like my worst feeling has been one of those shows in which I've been on the side and just like thinking of like I'm gonna do this thing and then never did it. Cannot remember specific things. I remember of like worst as in something very scatological I did on stage and I got the reaction from the audience like and I loved it. So it is the worst in the sense of like it was not pleasant,
Yeah.
but it was very enjoyable for me. And yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
That is a really nice positive answer to go out on, rather
Yeah.
than because that was a trick.
It was a trick.
That was a trick. You didn't slag off another team or say anything about anybody else.
I
You-
would
Yeah.
never do that.
And I also just want to say, Gallagher, seconds after getting that answer, I was like, I just remember like 3 completely different shows that you were involved in that were way worse than that show. So I've done much worse than that. Absolutely. I've done all of the Fringe, all awful. Usually improvised movies, really bad.
Yeah, I've been there as well. It's you really you take a good long look and then you realize that the worst show that you've seen is probably the one that you've done yourself.
My improvised movie team were doing a show at the Fringe, and there's various reasons why that team like maybe wasn't doing our best show at that point, but also during that show, the light smashed in the room, and there was only one light.
Oh,
So we had to like do the rest like in near pitch darkness, and they were not on board before that happened. That is almost certainly one of the worst shows I've ever done.
yeah, I imagine.
So you're free, Gallagher. I've done much worse than that show.
Yeah, thank God.
But we have to say that John was doing the lights on that show, so it is.
Yeah.
It's,
And then when I bring it up, but my little techie John, I would never blame him.
It was the techie after all.
yeah.
We're going to leave it there, guys. Jeny, it was
Cool.
a pleasure having you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
thank you so much for having me and for having us. I'll say that on behalf of Ole. It's been really, really fun. And it's just really nice to see you guys, like through the screen. Yeah. Hopefully we'll see each other soon, real life. We'll see when that soon is, but yeah. It's been a blast.
Absolutely. Is there anything that you'd like to plug, Jeny, before you go?
Not much. Like I wish we could say that we're gonna be doing lots of shows and things like that, but we are now like starting to rehearse again, real life, because we have the chance here in the Netherlands. Things are better than in other places. So yeah, eventually we're gonna start doing these shows. We'll be live and we'll be streaming. And hopefully when that is gonna happen, we can just announce it on our website, which I said before. But yeah, if someone is interested in see what we do, they can just go to strangerthings.nl and they'll find all the info there. So yeah.
Sweet. McInnes? Plug?
I mean, come and see this show every Wednesday. It's fun. It's here. I mean, you have all the information. There's nothing to plug. Come back next week.
Yes.
Also, I do a show on Tuesdays with the Scottish team called Couch, where we take a Spotify soundtrack the audience has put together and do scenes off of it. It's very fun. The last I alluded to a scene that we did was this week, and it was silly. It was fun. I talked about it before we started, and I'm not going to say it here. Everybody go and watch it if you want to see me being gross. Couch Improv on Facebook.
Cool. Yeah, follow all the rest of the guest shows and Billy Boy shows and other shows here on Bristol Long Form Comedy on the YouTube. And I also have a team called Boat Club, which we do shows every Monday. What's so fucking funny?
I just remembered I forgot to plug Jazz Police, our team. And then you said, I've also got a team, and I was like, oh, thank God, Gallagher's going to plug them. They're like, Boat Club? I was like, damn it.
Jazz Police aren't doing it. What is Jazz Police doing?
I mean, go and like our page on Facebook.
Oh, right.
We aren't doing any shows.
Jeny, now you know why it's just me and McInnes doing stuff.
Yeah, I get it now.
They can't stand us.
Well, from all of us here at BLC Convos / the Banter Bus, thank you for watching. Thank you, Jeny, again.
Thank you, Jeny.
Thank you guys. Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Sleep, I did